Hello, it's Ashleigh Demi with Sister to Sister 2.0, and I'm here with the amazing Dr. Lovail Long. How are you?
I'm great.
How are you hanging on during this Corona time?
Oh well, I'm good. This ain't my first time quarantine. I quarantined for about 6 years in 2009. So
Okay.
so it's just the world wasn't going through the epidemic, but I've been quarantined before.
So tell me about that.
Uh, I caught a charge where I was investigated by several bureaus, FBI, SBI, ICE, IRS, and it was a 2-year investigation from Washington D.C. to Atlanta, Georgia. So it was in Washington, Maryland, Virginia, North Carolina, and Atlanta for conspiracy to trafficking cocaine.
Wow. So how long did you serve time?
I did 6 years.
Okay. So when you came out, you turned into the it man of DC, doing films and plays, and you got an honorary doctorate. So tell me about that. Tell me what life was like after incarceration.
It was different. Before incarceration, I didn't have a wife. I didn't have a religion. Those two things that I acquired once I was incarcerated. And the biggest change that happened was that God found me. And it was easy to transition. I tell people, when God gives you an assignment, you can't go wrong.
Okay.
So I didn't have no interest. I wasn't interested at all in doing theater. I wasn't even writing. I just woke up one morning while I was incarcerated, and I heard this voice that's like my voice when I tell everybody it was God, and he was saying, "Hey, you're a writer."
Mm-hmm.
And I went back and forth with him like, "Nah, I'm not a writer." He's like, "You're a writer." I'm like, "I am not a writer." And then he just showed me the way, and I just followed. And I listened to the voice, and every time I listen to the voice, things seem to come out right.
So is that where you say you began writing, where you were, down for 6 years?
Yeah, I didn't write till I came home, but everything was formulating in my mind.
Okay.
So do you ever hear when rappers say they don't have to write down on paper and they can go? Well, I'm that type of writer.
They can just spit bars, right?
Yeah, I can put a whole script in my head and just talk it out.
Wow. So you were the creative mind behind the Gids, right? The Go-Go musical.
Yes, me and Houdini, Mahid.
Okay. So tell me about that. I saw it, but for the viewers, tell them how amazing it was.
To me, it was a historic night. It was the first, we was the first guys, as far as black and white, to even perform in the MGM. We broke the mold, and my PR team doesn't seem to want to say certain things, but factual, we broke the mold for Tyler Perry at the MGM.
Really?
So I thought that should have been said. Mm-hmm. We were the first one. We was the really the guinea pigs for getting Tyler Perry in it.
Okay.
Theater, and we did great. We sold out. That night was historic. And reason why I say that, I remember the first time I went to see Maze down in New Orleans at the Essence Festival. Mm-hmm. And, it was just magical to see all the black people together.
Yes.
And synchronizing how it was so much love. That night at the MGM, it was the same feeling to see, because when we wrote it, we kind of know the feedback we're going to get with DC, because we all love our certain chants or certain songs.
Okay.
Everybody that was together, I sat back, and at that point, I wouldn't even look at the stage play. I was just looking at the crowd like they was my audience, like I was their fans. And to see everybody was full of love, up and dancing and so excited. And we're talking about kids from 4 years old to the the 4 to 94.
Uh-huh.
And we did a contest, and it was very special to see five generations of Washingtonians in the building.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was the first time it ever happened for Go-Go, or this city had 5, generations of people in a building at one time celebrating Go-Go. And when I say it was magical, it brought tears in my eyes. It was real powerful that night.
Wow. So what made you decide to do a go-go spin on the legendary The Wiz?
Because like I said again, I woke up one morning and I was reading Salah Houdini used to write books in prison. So he was known for writing books in prison. So he came over and asked me, he was like, "Big homie, I want you to read my book." I probably got like about 2 pages, and I said, "Nah, I can't read this." And I told him to take it off my desk. And he was like, "Oh, what's wrong?" I said, "Man, we can't keep on repeating the things that we've been doing. God locked us up, and I can't go back out into this world with this type of mess." And the message that he was sending in the book, I lived it. So when I started reading it just started bringing back bad memories. And I knew that I knew right then and there that I had to do something for families, and I had to do something to bring a brighter light on DC and the kids from the inner city, to show the world that, man, we can do just as much as the masses do. So it was really inspiring to say, okay, I'm gonna take the Wizard of Oz, the Wiz, and I'm gonna bring it to light in a different format in my culture. Like, I want to tell a story from my side, my culture, where I'm from.
So tell me about Salah Houdini.
Right?
So was that a childhood friend pre-incarceration, or did you meet him being down, or how did that come about?
I met this young skinny kid in prison. He came on the yard. I was locked up before he was. He came on the yard. And usually when you come into the prison, they'll tell you, when you get on the yard, they'll tell you where your group at. Okay. So naturally, him being from DC, and we was locked up in Georgia State Prison. Naturally, he being from DC, they point him over towards me and another guy that was from DC. We was on a 3,000 inmate camp, but it was only 3 guys from Washington, DC there. So he came over grinning, looking crazy, and I was like, "Nah, we ain't gonna do this." I ducked him for about 6 months and wouldn't stay away because I didn't want to get into anything. If he getting something in prison, I would have to get into something because we're connected.
Okay.
And, he ended up getting into my room, and he ended up bunkmating with me. We got in the same dorm, and from there it was history. We got to know each other, and I started loving him as a son, and our relationship had got deeper as where I was really caring for him and wanted to see him do great. And we decided to start writing together.
Okay.
And we wrote one. We wrote one movie about an OG and a young guy that fell in love like street way. Because we never thought that, you never seen that on film,
right?
Where 2 black men can love each other without being in a relationship.
Right, without being homosexual, right?
Yeah. So, that film we wrote, and then it was only natural. I called Anwan Glover Big G.
Okay.
And I had a cell phone in prison. It was illegal. Don't try
it.
You
had a cell phone? Wait, you had a cell phone in prison?
I had a cell phone my whole 6 years in prison.
Wow.
So once I called him and I said, "What do you think about doing a go-go play, the interpreter of the Wizard of Oz?" He was like, "That's my favorite movie, Slim. You on to something." I said, "Man," "I think we could do it." He said, "Slim, as soon as you get home, you call me, and man, we're going to make that happen." So start playing it in my mind, and I started laughing because I'm like, "Whoo, we ain't going to call Dorothy.
Dorothy, okay, cool. This is what we're going to do, though. We got to get you a little nickname. Help you navigate through the city. I got to think of a nickname for you. We're going to call you Dottie."
Her name going to be Dottie. And I said, then it was like Lottie Dottie.
Yeah.
So it was like me repping for my culture and showing the world my culture.
Yeah.
Like, in that format that they can understand. They can really understand because it's already been set.
So tell me about the awards now. let's fast forward to your road to getting your honorary doctorate. Tell me about that.
I won an award out in Las Vegas, the Play Magazine Awards, where
Okay.
there were different playwrights and producers and directors, everybody, actors from other cities. And I went out there and I met a sweet young lady. I love her to death, named Sylvia Traymore.
Okay.
Dr. Sylvia Traymore.
Actually, Dr. Sylvia Traymore Morrison is a friend to sister, but just FYI.
While we was out there, I won Producer of the Year for the Giz.
Nice.
Yeah. And the funny thing about it is, and I tell you, and you're the first one I told this.
Okay.
This is exclusive on Sister. They actually.
So this is exclusive. Okay.
This is exclusive. The people from the Wizard of Oz, the Wiz, actually tried to sue us. That's why we had to stop. It got that big that we got a cease and desist letter.
Okay.
And got a cease and desist letter. And the letter, they said we did a great job. They thought it was great that we had reinvented the wheel in such a way, but we couldn't do it.
Wow.
And, I'm a fighter.
Yeah.
I'm just not going to lay down. You just can't tell me anything. So I backed up off it because it was an unknown territory for me to ever be cease and desist, and these big folks coming after us. So I did my homework, and then I found out, because we was copywritten, but I didn't know we was copywritten because it takes a while for you to get your copywritten back. Mm-hmm. So once we got copywritten, I found out that the Wizard of Oz was a public domain, and I can use the characters. The copyright folks said that 100% that the play was ours and we shouldn't have no more problems because only thing we was using was the characters. And, I didn't even use the Toto. I used a character by the name of WB.
WB, he was hilarious. I remember that.
So even the people down at the copyright, they were so excited and said, "Man, we can't believe that you put a whole different spin." They told me I didn't even realize what I've done for the Wizard of Oz product.
Okay.
Yeah, so they was really, really, really hype off of that.
Okay. So tell me
now we free. We can do it now.
So now we can see the Giz in other cities, you saying, or no?
Yeah, well, yeah, we're gonna see it. First, we're gonna see it back home. We had it set for August the 22nd, 23rd, 24th here this year, but we canceled because of the virus.
Yeah.
And now we got it set for next year, April.
Okay. So you had a lot.
I think the 12th, 13th, 14th, I'm not sure, but we signed a contract now.
Okay, well, I'm sure we'll be seeing that. So you had Lottie Dottie, We Like to Party. You had WB. Yeah. Who are some of the other characters that were that you had that were, of course, inspired by the film The Wiz?
We had the dancing scarecrow with Cartier Williams, and then another thing that was the biggest change. Instead of having a 10-man, we had the 10-ma, which was Nikki Moore.
Okay.
So it was a lot of different surprises in what we changed up in this play.
Okay. So what were some of your other productions that you have?
I had a production called Confession of a Sidechick.
Okay. Tell me about that one.
Confession of a Sidechick. It was a hit. A lot of people was nervous of thinking we was giving the side chicks their props. But once you go through the play, and I don't want to give it all because we're going to take it to Atlanta.
Okay.
Once you go through the play, that you find out that the side chick really didn't get the props.
So tell me what inspired that. Did you have a side chick?
Yeah, I've had a couple side chicks before.
Oh, okay.
I'd make side chick holidays.
Oh, side chick holiday. You done made holidays important.
Yeah, so yeah, I had a couple side chicks, but it wasn't really my idea. It was a guy that I was partnered with, and I just wrote it. He gave me the title, and me and Houdini sat down, and he wrote his version first. And then me and Houdini sat down and wrote the version, and he seemed to like our version better, and we went with it. So it wasn't my creation, but I wrote it. We did a show called the Golden Girls, the black version of the Golden Girls.
Okay.
Which was a success. It's the Golden Girls. Another thing, it was a Golden Girls series, but we turned it black. And modern day black Golden Girl. And then I get a call Sunday night, probably about 10:30. My wife looking at me like, "Who is that calling your phone?" I told you I had some side chicks. Right?
Side chicks. Okay.
So So it was Miss Traymore, and
Okay.
she said, "How you doing, Dr. Long?" And I didn't catch on to. I said, "Hey, how you doing?" I said, "Everything okay?" She's like, "Yeah, everything's great." She said, "You didn't notice me calling you Dr. Long?" And I said, "No." She said, "I like to put your name in the hat of becoming an honorary doctor." I'm like,
Wow.
"Are you for real?"
Wow.
So that kind of brought me to tears, and I was like, "Are you for real? Are you being serious?" Because I told you I didn't know her in the past.
Hmm.
And then my wife heard the conversation. I put it on speaker, and my wife's like, "She playing?" So she wasn't playing. So I'm sitting there, and I'm getting kind of choked up now. But she wasn't playing, and it went from me have to give them my resume, uh, getting signatures, and all those things you got to do to go through. That was a bunch of stuff I had to do. And I still thought the process they wouldn't take me because I told them I was a convicted felon. I told them everything I could tell them for them not to pick me. I guess I was scared to take that honor on. So
Yeah.
I told the complete truth, like everything. In my letters, I gave them I told Salah Houdini to give them the complete truth about me because
Okay.
I don't want to misrepresent this title that they're giving me.
So what is the truth?
The truth is I was a bad boy. I was in the streets.
Okay.
I was in the streets for real. I hurt my community. And I wanted them to know that, someone like me that I didn't think that was worthy of this type of honor. And then
Okay.
saying doctor, you gotta understand I'm from Southeast Washington, DC.
Southeast, southeast.
Yeah, and I don't have nobody in my family. I don't have nobody in my hood as a doctor. So
Okay.
for me to be saying I'm a doctor, I mean it was kind of like pressure. So I just wanted to just let them know everything about me. And I would put it in God's hands. If it was meant for me to be, then it be. But I definitely gave them everything that I would think them for them to say no. Like, yeah, I'm like, if they're gonna accept me, I want them to know who I am.
Yeah. Now some see you as being the underdog, or people have claimed to see you fail. How do you feel about that?
That's a city thing. I don't receive national awards, and
Hmm.
even like talking to you guys now, this is a national magazine. And the
Okay.
funny thing about it is, when you go through your city, it's always going to be, crabs in the barrel. They don't want to see their own make it.
Okay.
So it's just a city thing where it is. I think that people want to see me fail because, drug dealers is usually supposed to, if you had success in drug dealing, once you get out of jail, you're supposed to fall off. And
Oh.
people want to say, hey, he used to have money. He used to
Hmm.
be the man. And that was
Okay.
one of my fears. I didn't want to come home and not be involved in drugs. And then people say, well, he used to, man, I remember when he was the man. And my thing was to reinvent myself. And that's why I tell people I'm a hustler. I wasn't really a drug dealer because most drug dealers, they can't reinvent themselves because that's all they knew was selling drugs.
So
Yeah.
you were the man after being locked up. What was life like before? Were you also the man in DC?
Yeah, I was a well-known drug dealer, millionaire,
Okay.
owned several properties, had a film company. Miss Foster actually used to come to my shoe store in Mitchellville, Maryland, called
You said,
Laces.
oh, Jamie Foster. Okay, Jamie Foster
Yeah.
Brown. Okay, dropping bags, dropping dimes.
Yeah. I was managing Big G while
Okay.
he was on the wire. I did my own film called Hood Related. I had clothing line. I had a club. I had D-shell shops, car fetish. I owned a club in Chapel Hill, North Carolina called Boogaloo Green. So I was
You were doing your thing. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm making a lot of fuss out here.
Yes. And now if Jamie, I call her Jamie, but yeah, if Miss Foster, if she stops by the store, you're doing something popular. Okay.
Yeah, she used to stop by there all the time. I
Okay.
couldn't dream of being where I'm at right now. You like I'm doing an interview with you and I'm sitting here like I can't believe this is going on. So,
You know what? Because you've done so many amazing projects like Golden Girls, like The Giz. I mean, would you consider having The Giz on Netflix maybe?
yeah, like they called. I had a distribution company called about the gigs, and I didn't have original music.
Okay.
It was they do a lot of cover songs.
Yeah.
Now I'm trying to work on original music, but I got three more. I got three more go-go musicals coming. We got them backed up, which I think DC is going to be very excited because I want to do a go-go musical every year.
Okay.
So I'm doing 2 next year.
So you're saying DC can look forward to a go-go musical yearly, right?
Yes. And MGM was very helpful with it too because they didn't give us all the charges that they could have gave us.
Oh, okay.
So they kind of let us get in the door and a small deposit because they wanted it to happen. Where not the MGM here. You know, you got the MGM in Vegas. They the big malls, and you got the MGM here.
The MGM Grand in Vegas. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, the MGM didn't want us to have it here. Let's get that right. They turned us down. They didn't want it here.
Why? Did they tell you why?
No, you know, they're not gonna tell you that. They didn't want go-go in their building. So then we reached, like I say, I don't quit, I'm a fighter. We reached out to Vegas.
Okay.
Vegas gave us the green light.
Good.
So that's when it happened. And, you know, all those guys that's in the MGM now, the go-go band, I would like to think that we was the push for that. Because they didn't want that at all. Yeah,
because you opened the doors for now go-go performances to happen at the MGM. Yes.
Yeah. So, you know.
Your story has touched and inspired so many people. I must see a biopic done on you in your life soon because
American University is doing a documentary on us.
This conversation has been amazing, and I know you inspire, you know, people that have charges, people who are locked up, people post incarceration. You were the man before you went in. Now you are, you know, even doing better. You know, and everybody has this stigma attached to that. How do you feel about that?
It's a good feeling. It's no pressure because as long as I don't disappoint God, I'm good.
I mean, you're doing it for DC because even when I talk about, you know, you and your story and your stigma, you still refer back to DC. So your hometown is definitely.
I'm definitely an influencer in the streets. So like even with Houdini, you know, he was young. He was 23 when I met him, and I didn't survive prison because I was a tough guy. I survived prison because of the love and what I've done in my resume. So, you know, I work with the YAP program now, which is a youth advocacy program, and I'm a credible messenger. And that's what I wanted to get to in the piece. But I'm a credible messenger. And reason why I'm a credible messenger because of the credit in the street that I have. And I've been through what these kids been through. So it's my job to deter them away from that and show them that it's a lighter side. And why I say I know I can do that is because most of the young men was missing a father. So when I get around these young kids in prison and stuff like this, I tell you basically what I do. I tell them what's their problem, and I cook for them, and I show them things that they haven't seen with men. See, the problem with our young guys is, man, and I was telling her the first film I want to do is I want to show like an OG can love a young guy. Most of these OGs out here, they run away from, they scared of these kids. And every kid that I step face Saladin to be the first. Every kid that I step face to face, man, I change their life because they see me in them. I can tell them about seeing my mother being raped. I can tell them about the drug use. I can talk to them about having a pistol put upside their head. You know what I'm saying? I can tell them about their grandmother stealing out their pockets. I can tell them about the women that's going to deal with the guy that got the money. You know, it's something different. So most of the guys I do meet, they want to be actors. They just don't know how. So I don't reach these young guys by intimidation. I greet them with love. And the number one thing, the only thing they ask you for, and this is where we mess up with a lot of politicians in Washington, D.C., man, the biggest thing to catch these kids, no matter what, is honesty. If you give them the straight honesty, I don't care. Like I could tell a kid, like, nah, I'm not going to shoot no. I'm not shooting them. No. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not going to allow you to shoot them because I love you. Why would I? Like, people thought Saladin, because Houdini was locked up before he had attempted murder. Mm. So, and he has an attitude. So, first thing when we was in prison and people wanted to test us, I used to always tell them, like, I need you beside me, bruh. If you leave the dorm, you do something to somebody, we're not going to be together. You know what I'm saying? I need you here with me. I don't need you locked up again. You see what I'm saying? So that's what I tell my young men. Yeah, you always got to protect yourself and make sure that no one hurt you. But at the end of the day, you want to be here for your families. You want to be here for me. Like, I need you here. Like, if you're not here, then what's all this for? And usually when you show these young men that type of love and that honesty, they transfer over.
Your story reminds me of Power. Do you watch Power?
Yeah.
Did you watch Power? Like, you were the father figure to everybody. You took on for everybody. You made the moves, you made the money. So were they disappointed when you were locked up?
I wouldn't say disappointed. More of, I can say, missing that lifestyle. Mad about not having that lifestyle.
Okay. Because in Power, like, Tasha was mad at a Ghost. You know, they were mad. They said, we want you back in the streets. So you think your family wasn't disappointed in you?
No, I think my brother didn't want me back in the streets, but my mother had, and that's the beautiful thing about me and her now, and the love situation, and I feel like I can trust her and love her to death, is because my mother was the most greediest person I ever knew. But that time away from me, and the funny thing and the story behind that is that I remember I told y'all they took like $600,000 away from me.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, when they take the money, it's not their money. I can still claim it. It was my money. So,
and how is that so?
Because, I mean, I had clubs and stuff. It's my money. It's not the government money.
Okay.
So I still, when no charges brought up, the charges was dropped. Like, when they came and got the money, no charges was dropped.
Okay.
So I still could come get the money.
So that money was clean, and it was reported in a sense because you had a club.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it wasn't clean. It wasn't reported. But the idea is I have a club. But what happened was they didn't drop the charges till like the 5th year that I was in prison. So what I received from my lawyer was basically telling me if I let them have the money and the 2 pistols they found, they would drop all charges. And so I talked to my moms, and remember me saying that my mom is the most greediest person in the world. So I told my mom, I said, hey, do you want me to go after this money? I said, because they're not going to drop that charge up there if I go after the money. And I definitely was expecting my mother to say, yeah, go get that money. We need it. But the most sweetest thing came out of her mouth, and it was really great. She was like, F that money. I need you home. So when she said F the money, man, I told the people they can have it. I signed what they need me to sign. She said, let me come home. And then a year later, they let me go.
So that was probably a pivotal and a life-changing moment for you, and your mother, you know, surprised you and gave you the answer that you probably deep down really wanted.
Wanted, right. And well, that's the second one. The first one when my wife wanted to marry me.
Right. Of course, that one.
And I told her, I said, you was crazy. I like, why would you marry me? What is wrong with you?
Wow.
And that was a great feeling knowing that I was coming home with God and my wife.
This conversation has been amazing.
Trying to figure out, should I tell you something? Because I'm really excited about this project.
Give me the exclusive now.
Huh?
Can you give me the exclusive?
God. Yeah,
Please.
Yeah,
we got nothing but time. We're home.
Okay.
It's Corona.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go all the way into it because I know once I tell you, I know you're gonna be like, what? So we did sign a contract and it will happen. Sardines and pork and beans.
Go. Love it.
The
And for those who
Junkyard
don't know, who wrote Sardines and Pork and Beans?
The Junkyard Band, JYB.
Okay.
So that's going to be a lot of fun. And I tell people around me, I tell them that it's really personal. That one is personal because I'm a Ward 8 kid. So that one going to be really personal. And, man, they think to give something, I'm going to kill that one.
So you heard it here first. Sardines and Pork and Beans, right with Sister to Sister 2.0 by Dr. Lovail Long. Dr. Long, thank you so much for your time. We are just happy to have you. It's been an amazing conversation, and I look forward to all your projects.
Thank you. And I'll
Thank
be in
you.
touch with you.
Yes, Ashleigh Demi, Sister to Sister 2.0.
Got you. Thank you, Sister to
Yay!
Sister. This is Dr. Lovail Long, and you're watching Sister to Sister 2.0. It ain't a thing if you ain't got that go-go swing.
Okay, you got that go-go swing. I love it. I love it. Oh my God, that was amazing.